Welcome back, everybody. You're just in time for What's Hot. This is where we talk about the stories that have us all talking.
We're joined this afternoon by Susie Falk from the Falk Group Public Relations. Jeff Wagner back with us also. A clerical error, were you going to say something? Kept a Missouri man from serving 13 years in prison. The man helped rob a Burger King back in 1999. In May of 2000, he was convicted of armed robbery and sentenced to 13 years, but he never did time. In July 2013, oopsie, they realized the mistake. He was hauled away for failing to serve his sentence. Should he have to serve his time 13 years later? I mean, I don't know it was his fault he didn't serve his sentence.
Guy goes home, his lawyer says, wait for a letter that tells you when to report to begin serving your sentence.
Yeah.
Guess what doesn't show up? The letter.
But doesn't he have some responsibility to turn himself in? I don't think the guy should have to fulfill the full term, but he should probably pay some sort of time in jail or prison. Here's the thing. He was irresponsible to go out and have a family, knowing that the court may come a-calling and make him serve this time. That said, he seems like an upstanding citizen with a nice wife.
He hasn't done anything since.
Right. So maybe he served some of his time.
Can you imagine him going, yeah, I was supposed to go to jail. You guys haven't come for me yet?
Well, but he knew, well, wait a second. Okay, first of all, would you feel differently, Courtney, if instead of an armed robbery, now admitted, he walked in, they held up a Burger King guy, and it was a BB gun, but they thought, if this was a rapist, or
well, yeah, definitely.
Okay, well, all right, well, but I guess... But see,
I'm not saying he shouldn't serve it. I'm just saying I don't see him picking up the phone and going, hey, I was supposed to serve jail time. Why am I not serving this time?
Well, but I mean, if you read the interview, I mean, he knew this. I mean, he figured, okay, well, I know there's a mistake. I know they're going to come look for me. So, I mean, I'm with you, Susie. I think he has a responsibility. Here's what I think should happen. I don't think you get a get out of jail card free. I think he needs to start serving his sentence like he is. I don't know what the parole or early release thing is in Missouri, but I think you do deserve, he gives some credit, maybe get out a little bit early, but his attorney says, well, it's cruel and unusual punishment to make him start serving his sentence. Nuts to that.
Yeah, I think he needs to serve some time. He did something really bad, and we can't just let people go off and if they escape the strong arm of the law, let them get away with it. That said, there should be another lesson learned, and that should be the court system and whoever screwed up the clerical error. I have never heard of it happening
before.
Yeah.
I love that he's been pulled over by police for traffic violations, and he gave his real driver's license, identified himself. Nothing ever came up with the computer saying this was a guy who was supposed to be in custody.
Because I think what happened was when they entered the judgment of conviction and all those documents, that's where they had the error. They didn't have his name right. So, I mean, he's been buying houses, he's been doing all this stuff under his name. There was just never a warrant, but he knew that they were going to catch him some days. No, most of the times this happens when people run. You know, they show up
and
13
he's just
years later.
hanging out.
How, the anxiety, I just don't know how he did it.
I
would have been so paranoid.
Yeah, you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop. You not know when it's coming.
Probably after a decade, you figure they're not coming, though. You know.
Missouri. Coming up next, we reveal the viewer's choice topic of the day.
And Brian Goddard is back with another look of an improving forecast. Back after this. Viewer's choice topic of the day.
Again, we're joined by Susie Falk and Jeff Wagner from 620 WTMJ. The viewers chose this one today. Talgo train getting ready to leave Milwaukee. The company built 2 high-speed train sets for the state. They've never been used. Talgo now abandoning the factory it's been renting from the city. It's suing the state, claiming a breach of contract. So is leaving a smart move?
It's not good for us, for certain, but it's the right thing for Talgo to do. We promised them that we were going to be purchasing their trains and that we needed them and we needed a maintenance facility to take care of the trains. And we basically turned down a whole bunch of federal financing for a continuation of the trains through Madison, eventually up to Minneapolis, which basically said we don't care about trains or light rail in this community. We really don't want you here. So.
Well, I mean, the problem is this was a bad deal. They should have never entered into this deal, in my opinion, in the first place. This was political back a number of years ago. Different administration comes in with a different aspect to it. I hope that they're able to make this whole Century City aspect work. If they were depending on Talgo to make it work, though, I think it was going to be a pipe dream. This is an unfortunate set of circumstances, but I don't think they should have done the deal in the first place, and now we're paying the price for it.
The Hiawatha line could use an upgrade of the trains. I mean, I've been on the East Coast Amtrak, and it's a lot nicer than what we have running between here and Chicago. Why doesn't the state just want to buy, pay what they owe on the rest of these trains and put them into use since they've already got money thrown at them?
Well, aren't there maintenance issues? And are these? I think there's issues with it being suitable for the Hiawatha line. I'm not positive.
Yeah, I don't know either. And you know what? It's business, folks. You know, Talgo has every right to leave. It's too bad that the relationship didn't work out, but they're going to go bye-bye. And I feel sorry for the people who will lose their jobs because of this.
And do they have a lawsuit, Jeff?
Well, I mean, I think it all depends on the contract language and what was promised and what the obligations were. So you can sue anybody. I think right now the matter is in front of the claims board who'll have to decide. My guess is this will get settled for something somewhere along the line. Yeah.
All right, time for our lightning round. A couple's dream home causing some problems. This is the North Carolina neighborhood. Neighbors say that the modern style home does not fit into the historic neighborhood. They want this couple's home to be torn down. They got the building permit. They went ahead and started building. Now everything's on hold. What do you think?
I think some heads are going to roll on the planning commission. I think whoever approved the building permit is probably going to get tossed off the planning committee. It's you know what? They got the permit. They built the house. They should be allowed to continue the project. I mean, it's ridiculous that they have the building permit and they can't continue.
And I agree, and I carry it one step further. If these people in this community, first of all, they didn't tear down a Victorian house. This was a vacant lot. So if the people in the community wanted to control what happened on that vacant lot, they should have bought the vacant lot. Once this couple purchases the vacant lot, I think they have the right to do what they want with it, especially since there aren't restrictions. This isn't a Stepford community. There's nothing that says, okay, you have to put up the same sort of thing. But I agree with you, Susie. Yeah. Once you issue the building permit, then it seems to me the whole dynamic ends. You've said, go ahead, put it up there.
And communities do have control over what sorts of aesthetics you can put on your homes. I know in Bayside, where we live, our neighbors had to get approval on the color paint that they wanted to paint their house, and that was a sort of a pain, but they went through the process. They got approval on it. It's because we have to look at the house.
Bayside limits the color of paint?
What color did they pick? I'm curious.
Green. It was a very benign green, but they had to go through the approval process to get the green approved. Trust me.
I didn't realize Bayside was one of these Stepford communities.
Well, you know what? I chose to live there, and it's okay, but I could move, right?
So if you choose white, it's okay. It's just if you
there were certain colors you had to get approved, I guess, and green happened to be one of them. Now, this was years ago, and there could be new administration in the village.
So if these folks in North Carolina get the go-ahead to continue building, I mean, would you want to live in that neighborhood? And no one's going to be very nice to you.
Well, you know, it's funny, but this happens all the time. You know, Whitefish Bay went through this a few years ago. They tore down a couple houses, and then they put up these newer houses, and all the neighborhoods were saying, oh, and some of the neighbors say, oh, we love these old houses. Well, the old houses were kind of shacks, and it's like, all right, you know, if you love the old house, then buy it yourself and keep it. I have real limits with these people telling other people what they can do with their property.
All right, that's it for What's Hot on TV. It will continue online. Find it at TMJ4.com.